So game two is going to be obviously a must win for the New York Knicks, and I think they will find a way to tie it at one game apiece. Because if we look at the first game, obviously outside of the comeback from Indiana, which again, credit to the Pacers, they continue to never give up. They're always in the game until the buzzer sounds. And the reality is the New York Knicks cannot afford to let go of the rope in this series. Because if you do, the Indiana Pacers will make you pay. Now, couple of things that really stood out in the first game was the heliocentric offense that Jalen Brunson played late in that fourth quarter. Now, I understand that Brunson should get the ball because he's the best clutch player left in these playoffs, and he should be orchestrating things. My only issue is this: run some actions out there, move the ball around, and don't let him hold the ball down till there's 10 seconds and he has to make a play. I don't think that's sustainable offense. I think what the Knicks need to look at is a mixture of Jalen Brunson isolation and maybe get some post looks for Cat and Mikal Bridges, because Mikal Bridges in the first half, this was pretty surprising to me when I looked it up. First half, Mikal Bridges had 12 shot attempts. He shot 50% from the field, had 12 points. He was really solid in that first half. He was taking advantage of his matchups out there. Well, obviously, he's got size advantages over Nemhard and over Bennett Mathurin. And then you can switch guys where you can get him in a matchup with Halliburton because he could not bully him, but shoot right over him as well. He's not the greatest defender. Aaron Nesmith, not ideal because he's built like a linebacker, so obviously he won't have be able to score over him. But again, Mikal Bridges got a lot of touches in the first half. The second half, this was really alarming to me, was only 4 shot attempts. Again, he shot well from the field, but he did not get enough touches at all. So I think if you're going into game two, you need to include Mikal Bridges in more actions because he's going to create a lot of mismatches out there. What's going to force Indiana to either double him and he can kick it out for threes and open shooters. Or if you don't double him, he's going to shoot right over the top of you in the mid-range area. I mean, Mikal Bridges has been really good in those spots. So that's one thing I want to see the New York Knicks going into game two is feed Mikal Bridges more. Another thing I'd like to see the Knicks do is not control the pace, but don't play at the same pace as the Pacers throughout the entire game because they only go 7 deep, and you could definitely wear out faster that way if you're trying to run with the Indiana Pacers as the playoff series goes on. Again, it's the best of 7, so it's the first 4. But if I'm the Knicks, I'm thinking about, yes, you can try to play the same tempo, but try to slow the game down at times where, you're running your offense, you're getting guys involved, and you're wearing down the Pacers because they're going to constantly press you all the time. They're going to try to play in transition, push the pace. So if I'm the Knicks and I'm getting stops and I'm getting rebounds and let's say I have an open 3, maybe not take that right away. Maybe just slow it down some more and run your offense because on the defensive backboard, offensive backboard, you were killing them there. Now, the second half, Indiana did do a better job. It was 18 to 17 for rebounds in the second half. But overall, I think they have the advantage on the backboards. I mean, 46 to 39. Mitchell Robinson was really good for the minutes he played. I don't expect the Knicks bench to be as effective. I know they did play really well against the Pacers bench, but I think Indiana's bench will be better. So I don't know if that's sustainable, but what I do know that's sustainable is more touches from Mikal Bridges. Cat, just keep doing his thing. I know he took 8 3-point attempts, but at the end of the day, he was really aggressive, going to the paint, not settling for threes. And I thought he did a really good job on Pascal Siakam, was able to guard him in space. And if you're the New York Knicks, you got to feel really good about the rim protection because all the guys out there were getting involved. OG Anunoby had 3 blocks. Mikal Bridges had a couple of blocks. Towns had a block. Even Deuce McBride had a block. Everybody was taking pride on the defensive side of the ball. It's just in those last few minutes, you let go of the rope. And when you do that against the Indiana Pacers, they're going to make you pay every single time. Look, they have multiple comebacks for a reason because of their ball pressure and always playing at this pace that they always try to initiate in these games. So the Knicks just need to slow down the game a little bit. Obviously, I'm not saying you pass up every open 3 off an offensive rebound. Just try to read the situation and don't play into the Pacers' hands because you might wear down as we get to the fourth quarter. Let's say the Pacers are within striking distance and they come back and win again. That's why I think, the Knicks need to pace themselves with how fast they want to play. Because if they play into the Pacers' hands, it might backfire with them again as we get to the clutch situations and the Knicks run out of gas. Another thing I like to see in the fourth quarter, when it's late in games, the last 3 minutes, is less heliocentric offense from Jalen Brunson. Look, I'm not saying you shouldn't run that action. I'm not saying that Jalen Brunson should not have opportunities to score the basketball, draw a foul, or take a step back threes, or get to the mid-range area. All I'm saying is that if you run constant isolation basketball, you take the other 4 guys out of the actions. And now They don't have a rhythm. They didn't get a touch. And you play into Indiana's hand again because if Brunson misses, they run in transition. Or, even if he makes a shot, I think you should give more touches to the guys around you. Just move the ball a little bit, get the defense in rotation, make Indiana work on defense. Now, I'm not saying Jalen Brunson, again, should not run any action whatsoever. I just think that have a balance there at the end. Don't be predictable with your offense because if Indiana's making a little bit of a run and you're starting to feel the pressure, run some clock, run some post action for Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, because you got the size advantage. It's really obvious. I just think for the Knicks' sake, consider playing less heliocentric offense because it feels like sometimes the Knicks offense, runs into a wall where like Jalen Brunson just figure it out and save us. When you've got four guys there who can do different things, like Josh Hart can put the ball on the floor. Obviously, he's not the best shooter. He's been actually shooting well from three in these playoffs, but outside of that, OG Anunoby, he's a good catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Mikal Bridges can put the ball on the floor. Cat can as well. So there's different things they can do in those situations. Again, I'm not saying get away from isolation basketball from Jalen Brunson, but let the other guys get some touches and run some offense. And then you take more time off the clock, and Indiana has to score even quicker, and you put pressure on them to score as fast as possible to keep the game close or to try and take a lead. So that's what I would do if I'm the New York Knicks. I wouldn't panic after game one. I still think the Knicks are going to win this series in 7 games because I like what I saw from the front court, and they had a 15-point lead with a little under 5 minutes to go. You just can't afford to let go of the rope. Cannot for any second this game say, you know what, it's over. Do not do that because the Indiana Pacers will burn you every time. So I think the Knicks will learn their lesson from this game. Definitely a tough one. I didn't like the intentional foul from Tom Thibodeau when they were up by 3 points with 12 seconds left. I think you just make Indiana try to take a three. Try to defend the three, make them shoot it. If they make it, you live with it. If they don't, then you probably end up winning that game. That's the one thing I didn't like because they had no timeouts. And then you were going to set up Indiana's full court press. I didn't like that idea and strategy whatsoever from Tom Thibodeau. I know people were talking about the Miles Turner block. It looked like it was a goaltend. And there probably wasn't enough time for Tom Thibodeau to challenge the call, but I think Tom Thibodeau needs to put his fingerprints on this series where he gets the guys to go and say, okay, we still have the lead. Let's not let go of the rope. And look to challenge calls, like be more tentative there because Rick Carlo did that twice. I think there was a possession where Indiana was down 5 with 30 seconds left in the fourth. He challenged the call and the Pacers got the ball back, which turned to another 3-point make. Those are the things that Tom Thibodeau needs to do in order to win this series. If he doesn't, I think it's going to be harder for the New York Knicks. But at the end of the day, the Knicks got to feel good. You played a really good first game. You're really good with your rim protection, really good on the glass. Cat and Brunson did their thing. The one thing I'm targeting next game is Mikal Bridges. Get him more involved. He got a ton of shot attempts in that first half. He shot well from the field. Even if he doesn't, shoot a lot. I mean, he had the 5 assists, which is awesome. But if you can get that to like 8 assists into like 22 points, makes a big difference. And you end up winning that game in that scenario, especially when the game was only 3 points. So, again, it's the margins. Now, OG's got to shoot better from the 3. 2 of 8 isn't going to cut it. But you got some matchup advantages with Mikal Bridges. Just take advantage of it, and the Knicks should be all right. I'm not going to freak out after one game. It happens. The playoffs is always unpredictable. It's always a wave of emotions where things just don't go your way, and you're stunned and surprised, but you shake it off and move on to the next one. So Knicks should be just fine. I expect them to come out and win game 2, and I think it's going to be a fun series and very entertaining. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts about what the Knicks need to do in game 2 and what do you expect going forward in this series. Who do you have winning? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.